All right, welcome back, my dear students. So in this lecture, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at how we can do styles, inline styles with Vue.js, which is going to be awesome. So I'm going to grab the index again. I'm going to do a save as, and we're going to be doing this a lot, guys. So get in the habit of doing this. I'm going to be calling this binding inline styles.html. Great. Okay, let's just come back here and take all this out. Let's go to that file, okay? All right. So to bind styles, it's super simple. I'm going to show you. So what I'm going to do is right here, let's actually create some type of div, empty div here, and I'm going to display the message. Just as simple as that. Okay? You might want to put a space here so that way. Okay? Make sure you double click on that file and you open it up. All right. So let's say we want to do some inline styles to this using Vue. Dynamic colors, guys. That's what we're going to be doing here, okay? So I'm going to create a, and let's do this after the message. Put a comma here. I'm going to create a font size dynamically. And I'm going to set this to 30, just like that. And I'm going to come here. And I want to style this, okay? So I'm gonna bind the style, okay, by doing colon style. Remember that shorthand, right? And then I'm gonna pass an object right here, like that with the curly brackets. And I'm gonna say, well, I want to add a color, okay? So I'm gonna add a color here of red. This is something that I don't have down here yet, okay? That is going to be static. So I put the quotes there. And I'm going to put a comma here because I'm going to add something that is, okay, dynamic right here, font size. And font size, I'm going to put a colon there because it's an object. And I'm going to pass in the font size right here. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this font size is what we have natively in HTML in the style property, okay? You're gonna see something like this, font size, okay? As a matter of fact, you can look it up, CSS properties, okay? And font size, it looks like that, but when we need to, what we need to do is make a camel case, okay? Remember that you got CSS property and then you got JavaScript styling, okay? JavaScript style properties, okay? So there is a lot of JavaScript right here. Font size, font weight, font size right here. So remember that we're using JavaScript, guys, so you need to research what of, you know, what property works for your JavaScript instead of CSS. So this is the JavaScript version of that styling. So font size, and this is the dynamic data that property that I got down here. But we need to add pixels to it, right? So I'm gonna do a little concatenation here. I'm gonna add px to it. Okay. So now if I go back here and I refresh, you can see that that looks even a little bigger, right? If we inspect it, you can see that that property font, the color is red, the font size is 30 pixels. Pretty awesome stuff, right? All right. So if I come here, let's go to the, let's create a variable here and let's call this VM. Let's refresh and let's go to our console again, and you can inspect the element and go to console, guys, okay? But I have the key. There we go. I got the keyboard key for my Mac to do that. So I'm gonna grab the VM, okay? I'm gonna grab the font size and I'm gonna assign it to 100. Let's do 100 pixels. Let's do 100 pixels. Oops. Or I might. I'm grabbing the wrong property. I don't need this. I just need 100. VM is not defined. Okay, sorry about that. We need to, sometimes you need to refresh this a couple times. All right. So font size 100. Enter, and you can see that that changes to that size. Okay. So sorry about that, guys. Now that this is working, let's go ahead and give you another example real quick on this lecture. Let's do an object. We can pass a whole object to our style. So I'm gonna do a style here. Actually, it's this way. Okay. Now we did pass an object here, but we can pass an object from here. So if we had an object, for example, style object like this, with some properties, we can pass the whole thing to that style up there. So let's go ahead here and let's just say I want the color to be, I don't know, blue, and I want the font size to be, let's make it enjoyable, 10 pixels. Okay, but let's put it in this 10 pixels like that, and I want to pass that whole thing there. Come back here. We don't even need curly brackets there. And what I'm going to do is, this is also going to be message. And let's refresh. Let's do another refresh. And you can see that that is kind of working, right? Let's do 30 pixels. Refresh a couple times. And there we go. All right. Really awesome. Let's take this a little further and let's create another style object. And I'm going to call this object number 2. Okay. And I'm going to change this with yellow. I'm going to change the text to 100 just to make it more noticeable. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to pass an array here. Okay, so I'm going to use square brackets like that. And I got object number 1, which is of course style object, and style object number 2, which is style object number 2. I'm going to refresh a couple times here. And now look at what happened. Really awesome, right? Now what's happening here is that style object number 2 is overriding some of the styles from style object number 1. Okay, it's overriding color, which is already here, and font size. Okay? All right. So I think you're good with these examples that I gave you. And let's take a look at classes next.